What's going on, everybody? It is May 16th. It is a Saturday. And boy, do I have a story for you today. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be talking about this, and for good reason. It's completely ludicrous. So I got sent this yesterday, and I was blown away. I was like, there's just no way this is true. Unfortunately, we live in a crazy world, and it absolutely is true. All of the mainstream sites are talking about it right now. And they're of course all praising it, saying it's the greatest thing ever. These are, of course, the same sites that praise the whole kneeling thing that almost bankrupt the NFL. Well, bankrupt is a harsh word. Put a big dent on the NFL. So much so that they ended up changing rules to make sure that the kneeling thing stopped. And it did. So, what are they doing to counteract that? Well, they've decided to make draft picks. The way teams get better, rebuilding your team, they've decided to make that based on handout hires. So basically, if you want to do better in the NFL, if you want to, let's say you're a crappy team, one that never wins, kind of like, let's see, the Detroit Lions or the Cleveland Browns. You're a garbage team, right? What do? Well, you just fire everybody and hire a bunch of minority people, and they move you up in the third and second rounds. Now, first round picks don't seem affected by this. These aren't going to be touched, but second and third round picks are. So it's no longer based on how you perform on the field and how much you suck. It's now based on who you hire in the front office and for your coaching positions. This is absolutely insane, and I would like to point out, ripe for abuse, okay, because you could literally just hire and fire people and move up the ladder unless they plan to have provisions in that. It's not very fair, and you're asking for a lot of trouble in this. Also, what about the people that are just, doing their jobs? All of a sudden they're fired, so they'll just start firing people and bringing people into the front office to move up on draft picks. It's absolutely insane. It's basically seen as an enhancement of the Rooney Rule. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain it to you. Basically what it is if you have a vacant head coaching or senior football operations position vacant, you have to hire or you have to interview some minorities for the position. I really don't have too much of a problem with that one because it's not demanding that you hire someone. It's just that you interview some people. I really don't see that as that big of a deal. And it's been around for a long time, at least a few years, I think. That's nothing compared to this. This is based on actually hiring people. So like I said, this is based on, so, let's say you're Joe quarterback coach. You're an okay employee, not the best, not the worst or whatever. There's now incentive to fire you and bring in somebody else based on external characteristics. And then we get to move up five or six spots in the draft to improve the team. Now, what could happen here is then they could just fire you again, the new guy, and bring in somebody else. It's like, it's ripe for abuse, like I was saying. So you're not hiring based on merit or talent. You're not hiring based on external characteristics to move your team forward. It's not very well thought out, like most social just stuff, and it's just very strange. To be fair, this hasn't passed. It's just being discussed based on what I'm hearing. But in today's crazy world, it's probably going to pass. And boy, oh boy, this is going to be a hard season for the NFL because, okay, let me explain something to you here. There's going to be no fans in any of the stadiums where the teams are playing this year. That's not going to happen. So there's already a lot of revenue going to be lost here. Now, I think the NFL will chug on just fine because they're kind of just too big to fail at the moment. It's a very popular sport. But this is some dangerous ground. Go ahead and take a look at the details of what's going on here. So on Friday afternoon, league sources reported that The NFL, in an effort to improve the number of diversity hires in league front offices, could change the draft process to where the wins and losses would no longer be the deciding factor of draft positioning, but how many minority coaches and GMs an organization has. Here's what the new proposals would include. If a team hires a minority head coach, that team in the draft preceding the coach's second season would move up 6 spots from where it is slotted to pick in the 3rd round. If a team would jump 10 spots under the same scenario for hiring a POC as its primary football executive, a position more commonly known as general manager. That's the person that runs everything basically for the team, and that's a big jump. Now, it is only for the 2nd round, but a lot of big picks can come from the 2nd round. It can really come from anywhere. It's really just kind of the luck of the draw sometimes, but it's interesting how they're going to do this. So no longer will it depend on how you performed. If you performed poorly, you now have an incentive to just fire someone and hire someone new based on external characteristics, like I said, to move up on the ladder. And also, you could perform very well, just not like the guy, fire him, and still jump up 10 spots. It's ripe for abuse, like I was saying. So here's the second part. If a team were to fill both positions with diverse candidates in the same year, that club could jump 16 spots, 6 for the coach, 10 for the GM, and potentially move from the top of the 3rd round to the middle of the 2nd round. Another incentive, a team's 4th round pick would climb 5 spots in the draft preceding the coach's or GM's 3rd round if he is still with the team. That's considered significant because Steve Wilkes and Vance Joseph, 2 of the 4 African-American head coaches hired since 2017, were fired after 1 and 2 seasons, respectively. Which, like I said, this is why this is a very, very bad idea. Now, this is not passed yet, right? We don't know if this is going to pass, but I would be willing to bet a form of this passes, probably with some restrictions and stuff like that. I think that this is really stupid and could do a lot of damage. I mean, you're going to see a lot of people kind of get shuffled around because of this. A lot of people are going to get hired and fired very quickly over and over again, and it's going to look bad because people like to mess with things like this to gain a win. And even though I think they're trying to make these rules with the best of intentions, that's not what's going to happen when they push these into effect. That's not what's going to happen. People are going to use them for the wrong reasons, naturally, and use them to push their team's rosters up in caliber. So people are going to get shuffled around, like I said, fired, hired, and it's going to be a big mess, a mess that they create. Now, I don't have too much of a problem with the other rule that you have to interview people because, some people that maybe wouldn't have had a chance before now will have a chance for an interview. But that doesn't hinge on draft picks and the ability to boost your team up through doing some weird, chair dance. It's really crazy. And you know what will also happen, I bet? You'll see people move into different positions. Someone get fired that was in the previous position, and they'll hire someone else to take over the new position, boosting them. And also, because they retained somebody, probably getting more draft picks. It's a really bad idea, and I'm really shocked that this is even being discussed. But it is. It's the world we live in. We live in a crazy world. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I don't know where this is going to go, but I will let you know if this actually passes. I'm not going to be a huge sports channel. I did have another hockey topic I came across that I want to talk about, but it's very rare that stuff like this comes up. But who knows? As the clowns move in, Maybe this will be stuff worth covering in the future. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Are you NFL fans? How do you feel about this? How do you feel this is going to change the league? I'd like to hear from you. Also, share the video. Throw a like up if you would. Make sure you hit subscribe. Subscribe if you're new. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that, and subscribe if you're new.